This episode starts with the CMC being depressed because someone else in their class got a cutie mark. Apple Bloom comes out exclaiming that she has the answer to all of their problems. But before she can explain, Granny Smith calls her away. Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle do everything they can with the newspaper, except for read it. When they're out of ideas, they return to Apple Bloom angrily, and she tells them the painfully obvious, that they should write for it. At least one of them's not stupid. So the three of them decide to join the school paper, the Full Free Press. Okay, this already puts it ahead of other CMC episodes. In most CMC episodes, they're just doing a variety of random things for a few seconds. In this one, they choose something and they really go in depth with it. That's how you do it. Shirley explains to the newspaper recruits that the editor-in-chief is pretty much the boss, since she herself is just an advisor. And then she reveals that the editor-in-chief is Diamond Tiara. She comes in and immediately starts treating it like it's a huge multimedia corporation.
Think pieces. No more namby-pamby stories like last year's editor. Namby-pamby was a great editor.
Alright, give them a point for that. The CMC decide that if being journalists is really their special talent, they can at least try to tolerate Diamond Tiara. Hey, if they can do it, I can at least try to do it too, because I really hate Diamond Tiara just like everyone else. So the CMC go around to try to find stories, but they come up with nothing that Diamond Tiara thinks is good enough. Then they find snips and snails attached to each other by gum. And yes, they really are that stupid. The CMC decide to turn this into a story. The school goes gaga over this new story because I guess they don't get enough of snips and snails acting like idiots in person. Diamond Tiara is actually impressed with them and moves them to a gossip column to get more stories like that under the pseudonym Gabby Gums. They go out to find more gossip, only to find that it's all dried up. We cut to Rarity, who trips over Sweetie Belle's saddlebag. It comes open, and Rarity's tempted to search through it. She actually tries to resist, which yeah, I think is worth a point. She does give in though, and takes interest in the school's paper. Rarity's laughter attracts Sweetie Belle, and she's just a little miffed.
How dare you!
I really wish I knew how they got Sweetie Belle's voice to do that without it coming off as grating. Rarity likes the paper so much she wants to show it to her friends. That excites Sweetie Belle, and she goes back to Apple Bloom and Scootaloo with the new idea to start spreading their gossip to all of Ponyville. That's another one to add to the list. So they start getting gossip on random members of the town. Like the Cake Twins crying. I don't know. Eventually, the Ponyville newsstand wants to carry the Full Free Press, and the CMC are excited with what they're doing. In fact, it seems that all of Ponyville is excited with what they're doing. The main six and Spike are at the spa, and they're excited about the Gabby Gums story too. Rainbow Dash runs in, hyped up about a story that everyone else already read. Twilight keeps telling them that Gabby Gums is being a little too mean. No one else seems to mind though.
Mayor, not naturally gray. The mayor in a mean dying scandal?
So that's where the money to fix the town hall went. Rarity tries to get Rainbow to enjoy some pampering, and she almost goes for it, while we see one of the Full Free workers in the background. Rainbow stops before it happens, and claims that she'd love it if Gabby Gums did a story on her, even though everything Gabby Gums had ever written was negative. Maybe that tortoise was a perfect match for Rainbow. Spike lets it out that Gabby Gums already did a story on him. Diamond Tiara doesn't like it though, because it puts someone in a positive light. Then the CMC reveal that they were feeling pretty guilty for doing all of that gossip, and that story was an attempt to change their image. Of course, they still want their journalism cutie marks, and so to please Diamond Tiara, they become even meaner. Now they're telling lies. Mostly. And the stories become about each of the main six. You know what I didn't realize the first couple of times I watched this episode? Fluttershy doesn't have a single line in it, and yet she's just as involved as the rest of the main six. That's actually kind of impressive. And the story Rainbow wanted comes to bite her in her reputation. Rarity is willing to defend Gabby Gums until she finds a story about herself and her private diary. Whoa. That's intense. The main six decide that they have to stop Gabby Gums, and Twilight suggests that Sweetie Belle might know who Gabby Gums is, since she also works on the paper. Rarity actually doesn't believe that Sweetie Belle would do something like that, until she finds her diary in her saddlebags. I think that whole moment is worth another point. So Rarity confronts Sweetie Belle, and she's understandably upset. Hey, they even point out that it was wrong when Rarity searched through Sweetie Belle's saddlebags, and they don't even make it the point of the conflict. Rarity convinces Sweetie Belle and the rest of the CMC apparently to try and quit. Unfortunately, Diamond Tiara won't allow it. If they try to quit, she'll reveal some embarrassing photos of them from when they first try to get stories. Some people have a problem with her little plan here, since by logic it didn't work. If she prints the stories, then she'll no longer have any dirt on the CMC, and the stories aren't really that embarrassing. I think you're missing the point of blackmail. It doesn't need to be logical. All it needs is the person who's being blackmailed to find it threatening. It seems that Rarity blew the whistle on the CMC, and so now everyone knows, and everyone has the same kind of retaliation to them, but only minor things like pouring rain on their head or simply not talking to them. Since their reputations were pretty much destroyed, it's a believable retort. You know, unlike that thing that I don't like talking about. The next morning, the CMC come by with a new story at the last possible second, so Diamond Tiara doesn't have the time to read it. In it, they reveal who they are and apologize for everything. Hey, they actually learn their lessons. And for the most part, it seems that every pony forgives them. And finally, Shirley demotes Diamond Tiara from the editor-in-chief. Since it took too long for no apparent reason, I have to deduct a point for that. With the exception of the Cutie Marks Chronicles, which I usually consider an entire cast episode anyway, I think this is the best CMC episode to date. A lot of people seem to hate this episode, the most notable being Buck Brony. And let me be the first to state that I don't get it. Is it Diamond Tiara? She was in Family Appreciation Day more, and she was worse in that episode. And just remember that if you hate an episode because of Diamond Tiara, then she wins. And you don't want that. Is it because everyone was mean to the CMC? You know, after they told vicious lies about them? I thought it was pretty warranted, unlike some certain other bits of revenge. And yes, I'm done talking about that until my Season 2 overview. There were definitely some minor things wrong with this episode, like Shirley not realizing that Diamond Tiara had too much power even after all Ponyville was reading the column. But it's nothing to kill this episode over, and it really doesn't detract from the experience.